Hello there, it's the 23rd of May 2020 and here you are with Dan in Essex, UK. So the main purpose of my channel is to show people how to grow their own fruit and vegetables, no matter what size garden, allotment or growing space they do indeed have. So some of you may be aware that I'm currently in the process of the 2020 melon project, and it's coming on how I would expect it to, and the plant's looking nice and healthy. So let's have a look at it and get straight into the video. So you can see the layout of the polytunnel here, and I've got the melons planted down the end. So I've got a selection of varieties here, and I'll just pan the camera across so you can see how they look. So we're very much in the early stages of the project here. I'm not expecting any crop until around September at the earliest, I would imagine. So we have watermelons here, Blacktail Mountain. So some of you may remember when I set these, I've got a video up, I put it up about a week or so ago, how I went about planting these out. So these two specimens here are the strongest ones. This one here is, looking a little bit curly leafed there. This one here just didn't look particularly grand from the start, but I put them all in because I'm not expecting them all to make it. So here I have, by the way, that's variety Blacktail Mountain watermelon, okay? So, other melons here, Petit Gris de Roi, and you could see what I've got there. I've got 3 specimens there. Here I have 5 specimens of sweet granite. Here I have 5 desserts, which you can see. And over here I have bitter melons, otherwise known as bitter gourd. So you can see they're putting out their sort of tendrils there, and what they will want to do is climb. So they'll probably end up climbing up on the polytunnel supports here, or indeed up some canes that I put in. So melons do very well between temperatures of about 20 to 30 degrees C. So currently in this polytunnel, it's about 6:15 at night, something like that, and it's currently 28 degrees C here in this polytunnel, which is about 84 degrees Fahrenheit. So doing well with regards to temperature, gets plenty of light, not so much light here now due to where they're placed in the polytunnel and the time of day and the position of the sun, but during the day they're getting about 8 hours of full sunlight, so that does them very, very good. So with regards to growing melons, you want to keep your growing medium warm, okay? So obviously the area above ground where they're growing, keep that warm as well, between 20 to 30 degrees C, but the growing medium, the soil or the contents of the pot you're growing them in, whatever, you want to keep that warm as well. And there are ways that you can achieve this, and one way you can achieve this actually is by putting a little bit of fresh horse manure in there, believe it or not, which can help to keep the growing medium nice and warm, because melons do like nice warm roots. And another thing you could see I've done is I've got these bin bags on the top here, and what they do is hold the heat as the sun comes into this polytunnel. The warmth holds in this here, and also it acts as a weed suppressant, and it keeps moisture in as well. So I'm watering them about every other day at the moment, a nice heavy watering, and of course this will change when the crop starts to come, because then what you do is as they get closer to being ready, you reduce the watering in order to increase the sweetness of the eventual melons, but that's for later on. So in a climate such as the UK, where the weather can be described as unpredictable, when you think of melons you generally think of something that would grow in a warmer climate than the UK in general. So ways in which you can grow them here: you can get varieties that are more suited to our climate. You can grow them in a polytunnel like this or a greenhouse. You could, if you had neither of those things, you could maybe grow them in a cold frame or a miniature greenhouse, miniature polytunnel, something like that. Or at the very least, you could put them up against a south-facing wall or fence for the microclimate that will provide. And of course, if you just wanted to do it for the crack and see what happens, you could just put them in the ground and let the chips fall where they may, so to speak. But certainly with regards to growing them And keeping that growing medium warm by a mulch or a cover, something like this will be beneficial. You could maybe put some tiles down, some dark tiles or some slate to help hold the heat. And one thing I have seen people do in polytunnels such as this is put dark rocks in there, and then the rocks hold the heat and then proceed to release the heat during the night, which can be an issue. So here in the southeast of the UK, we do tend to get some of the more favourable conditions for growing things like melons. But if you live further north, for example, you may want to really look into your microclimates quite particularly when it comes to growing melons. So a final look at the melons for today, and how I'm going to grow these as they grow on is yet to be decided. Whether I'm going to grow these sweet melons here vertically or let them grow all over the ground, I'm not sure yet. Definitely the bitter melons will be growing up the vines, and I will be tying them in as they go because that's their preferred method. But I'm yet to think where and what I'm going to do with these. Okay, there we go. That's the melon update. If you like my work, please feel free to like, share and subscribe. Quite windy here today. And you can always check me out on Dan_Home Gardens on Instagram if you're interested. Thanks for viewing. See you next time.